Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the City of Glendale Arts and Culture Commission. Today, Thursday, November 20th, and this is the November meeting. And with that, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Lee?
Present.
Commissioner Venetian?
Present.
Commissioner Solis? Absent. Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
Commissioner Kivanian?
Here.
Chairperson Gregorian?
Here. Let's have the next item.
Well, let me just read the, about the agenda. The agenda for the November 20th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on November 14th, 2008. And the next item is introductions and presentations, and there are none.
Okay.
Next item, consent item, approval of regular commission meeting minutes from October 16th, 2008 at 2 p.m.
Move approval of the minutes.
Okay.
Seconded.
Okay. Any corrections? Any comments? Okay. Since there are no comments, let's go for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Venetian?
Yes.
Commissioner Solis is absent. Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Kivanian?
Yes.
Chairperson Gregorian?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Oral communications.
Okay, this is where the public can have a 5 minutes to make comments and present or talk about anything related to us. And the commissioners may question and ask some questions from the speaker, but there will not be any debate or decision made. So based on that comment, the first card I have is our good old friend, Mr. Barry Macomb.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I'm Barry McComb, Executive Director of Glendale Arts and the Alex Theater. Since December is just around the corner, that means that it's time for our annual Merry Tuba Christmas celebration at the Alex Theater, which this year is scheduled for Sunday, December 14th at 7 p.m. For those of you that might not be familiar with Merry Tuba Christmas, it's actually an event that's taken place in Southern California. I believe this is the 34th year. It's actually called Glendale It's Home for the last 10 years, and it's been at the Alex Theater. This will be the 8th year at the Alex Theater. And what it is a gathering of professional and amateur tuba players from throughout Southern California, and they travel a great distance to come. And they come and gather at the Alex Theater and play your traditional holiday favorites written for tubas. So it's really a great family event with sing-alongs. As usual, we'll have a special visitor from the north who will come in to conduct several numbers. The best part is that it is a free event to the community. This year it's being presented by both Glendale Arts and the Downtown Merchants Association. And although it's a free event, people can stop by Downtown Merchants and pick up a special voucher, which if they bring with them to the Alex Theater that day, that will guarantee them reserved seating on the main level down front. For more information, people can visit the Alex Theater website at obviously alextheater.org, or also the Downtown Glendale Merchants Association website, which is downtownglendale.com. We always have a packed house each year, so I would invite people to come early to ensure that you get a great seat. We'll probably open the forecourt that day around 6 o'clock. Our vendor usually has special hot cider that day and cocoa for people, and we'll open the doors for people to be seated in the auditorium starting at 6:30. So I hope we'll see you all on December 14th.
December 14th?
December 14th.
At 6 p.m.
At 7 p.m., which is Sunday. 7 p.m. is when the event starts. Normally lasts about 90 minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions from Mr. Macomb? Nope. Okay.
Comment.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, Commissioner Kevanian.
Yeah, actually I was going to say, it's so fantastic to hear of a free event for anyone when it comes to Christmas time, especially Tuba Christmas, which I've been to several times. Great fun. Bring the kids. It's a free opportunity for children to be exposed to music. I think it's a great idea. And I'm glad to hear actually that Downtown Merchants is involved in that as well. It's about time that we get some of these businesses in the community involved.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
I'd just say they've been rather involved for a while in some of our major events, especially Unity Fest this most recently. But I would just tag, this really isn't, this is an extra plug, but people could come before that and have a free Messiah concert at 4 right down the street at the First United Methodist Church. I'll be singing in that with orchestra, and then hopefully we're not doing the complete version, we're doing 4 o'clock.
Highlights.
We're doing the first section, part 1. So we could come right down the street after. Thanks.
Oh, that's a nice December 14th we are going to have. Any other comments? Okay, the next speaker I have is again another good friend of this commission, Ms. Alisa Resnick.
Commissioner Gregorian, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry I wasn't at last month's meeting to present anything. So I wanted to let you know what is currently going on at Brand Library. Our current art exhibition, the postcards are going around, is Portrait in Phase. It's for female artists that submitted as a group. So they had this idea in mind. There's portraiture intermixed with a little fantasy, maybe a little psychological element. And it's Deb Deal, Jane Gotts, Fung Hoon, and Alexandra Wiesenfeld. And Deb Gotts has some photographs, but she also has a digital installation. So it's kind of a different, when you go into the gallery, it'll look a little bit different because one wall is completely dedicated to her digital installation. That had opened last month, and it is on view through December 19th. And another thing that I'm passing out is we had an opportunity to do a film screening. The film is Maynard Dixon, Art and Spirit, and it's a full-length documentary profiling the life of Western artist Maynard Dixon. The filmmaker, Jane McKay, will be coming to present the film. It recently was screened at the Gene Autry Museum, so we're excited that she's bringing it to Brand Library. She lives close to Brand and used to often come to Brand Library, so she was very excited to be able to bring the film to us. That'll be free and open to the public on Wednesday, December 10th at 7 p.m. And after the screening, she'll be available for questions, and she'll also be selling the DVD. And I've been wanting to do a film series at Brand for quite some time and just haven't had an opportunity to put it together, so this might be the first of additional ones once we see how it goes and see if that date and time works. So I invite you to both of those. The Maynard Dixon film is narrated by Diane Keaton, and there's also some Grammy Award-winning musicians that did the score. I believe somebody from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, something like that. I don't have the press release in front of me, but and I just got the film this week, so I haven't seen it all myself, but it is spectacular. They use over 400 images of his artwork in the film, and I believe one of his sons also worked with Jane to co-write and direct the film. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from Ms. Resnick? Okay, thanks. That concludes our, are there any other speakers? That concludes our section for oral communications. With that, let's go to the next item on the agenda, please.
Business agenda, action items, approval of subcommittee for Man's Inhumanity to Man's event.
Okay, Ms. Marashian?
Yes, this item was requested to be on the agenda by Commissioner Derhovanesian as an action item to discuss the Arts and Culture Commission's role in the City of Glendale's annual event of Man's Inhumanity to Man, and form a subcommittee to organize the event in the month of April 2009. As part of an annual Week of Remembrance commemoration, for the first time the City of Glendale is going to organize an art exhibition titled Man's Inhumanity to Man, co-sponsored by the Arts and Culture Commission. Because this is a citywide event, we felt it is very important for us to get some guidelines from the community, Councilman Aran Ajayan, who is the chair of the committee, and the community services coordinator Zizet Ayad. We had a brief meeting last week, and Chair Gregorian was also invited to be at the meeting. Councilman Aran Ajayan suggested that we should go ahead and form a subcommittee for this event, and there were some parameters given as a guideline. it was suggested also that the subcommittee should be limited to 5 to 7 people. Because, as you know, it was agreed that the art exhibition will take place at the Brent Library and Art Galleries. I also arranged a meeting with the director of the libraries, Cindy Clary, and senior manager of the Brent Galleries, Lisa Resnick, to talk about the galleries guidelines, to be able to share more information with you to help you speed up the process of organizing the event. We feel very strongly that time is very limited. If we really want to have a very first-class show, and we all have a mutual agreement that this is a very important event, then forming a subcommittee is the very first step to start the process.
Is that your report?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have some more to add when we go
on the discussion.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Wagner.
I have just a question. Did you say that Mr. Najarian suggested 5 to 7 people for the committee?
Yeah, for a subcommittee.
For a subcommittee,
which is different. It's going to be part of the
event committee, the subcommittee for the gallery. The gallery
for the art exhibition.
However, we can't have 5 people from the commission on
That's
it.
correct.
It would be members of the commission and others. Is that?
Yes.
I believe it will be 2 people from the commission, and all the other ones will be from the outside of the community to be part of the subcommittee.
But was the suggestion that we choose those other people to be on that subcommittee?
Yes,
Okay.
you're free to make those choices.
That's what I wondered.
We really be more than happy to assist you to get knowledgeable people in the committee, people who are capable of helping, and have some expertise in this area. But it's totally up to you who you would like to choose for the subcommittee.
Can I have a follow-up question?
Yes.
Especially
yeah. Go ahead.
Is the expectation that Alyssa Resnick will be involved in this event in the gallery?
That's what I exactly wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Yes, we will discuss this. We'll open this up.
Okay.
Yes, I think your questions are very valid, but you're kind of jumping ahead, which is good. I understand your concerns.
Okay.
Commissioner Derawanesian, did you
came up at the meeting, and Zizet Ayad suggested that the staff people like Alyssa Resnick or myself cannot be in the subcommittee, but we are going to do the main work, and we hope to get the subcommittee's support and the confidence to give the expert to organize the show.
So in reality, staff and commission, we would facilitate, we would support, we will provide whatever needs to be done. But the people from the community, they were people who are experts in different areas who are going to bring in the crew or the activities or the choice of activities. And then I suppose, again, we could have a meeting and discuss and see how we want it done. The issue is that, first of all, for that inhumanity of man-to-man, what kind of exhibition we want to have, if we want. Because I don't know if that's the topic for this meeting, or we are supposed to get together and decide this, because are we going to have just visual arts, are we going to have performing arts, are we going to have lectures, because it depends on or it's the multitude of whatever we have discussed, so we will decide people who are experts in the field. Let's say Facing History is a topic, is an organization that they can provide a lot of information. UCLA and USC, if we want to use the historical aspects and, whatever, to have nice lectures or presentations, and even for youngsters in university to participate, that's another arena. If we want to have ballet and performance in that area, that's another. If we want to have just art, so that needs to be decided, so we'll see exactly how we are going to choose the people who are going to be involved in that, and then we'll go from there, I suppose.
Let me just make a couple of clarifications before we continue and open up the discussion. Obviously, my colleagues would recall the report several reports that I gave from last year's event, and the fact that the subcommittee that was formed could not come up with, proper exhibition because of lack of space and short time, etc., etc. I'm sure my colleagues recall all of that. Apparently, the city of Glendale, also recognizing this, has appointed Mr. Najarian again to chair this coming year's subcommittee for the commemoration. And Mr. Najarian, being the chair last year and being privy to the immediate problems that we had last year, he actually requested Ms. Marashian to have a meeting with Ms. Marashian, Ms. Ayad, Commissioner Derovanesian, and myself to start this going. When we got into this meeting, of course, we all had open minds and wanted to see what we can do. There were several ideas floating around. One of them is the number of members of the subcommittee, but it's not going to be in stone. It is the commission who will decide how we could handle that. What the structure that Mr. Najarian discussed with us, and we all agreed on that, was that there is a general committee to do the commemoration for the April events and the Man's Inhumanity to Man and the Armenian Genocide, etc., etc. So that committee is a separate committee. Then there will be a subcommittee which will have a liaison with that committee, but this subcommittee would be totally different and would just handle the arts aspect of the commemoration. So basically, the Arts and the Culture Commission is going to form a committee to handle the issues with the man's inhumanity to man, but that committee will only be liaised with the main committee. And whatever this subcommittee decides on the project for man's inhumanity to man, that would be it. We might decide to do an arts exhibition, we might decide to do a concert, we might decide to do a series of concerts, lectures, whatever is artistic side of this issue will be based on that subcommittee. And the other events, the political events, whatever it has been going on, which is still not known yet, will be taken care of with the committee that the mayor will, not the mayor this year, Mr. Najarian, Councilman Najarian will do it. So basically, when these issues became clear, and we said, okay, fine, let's have some kind of an idea who the subcommittee members will be. Of course, Ms. Resnick's and Ms. Marashian's name came up, and it was clearly mentioned that, well, these two ladies are staff members, so they are going to be there and helping us anyway. And however, the subcommittee can be comprised of around 7, maybe up to 9, maybe going lower to 5, between 5 to 9 people, where they will make all the decisions and what kind of work, etc., etc. And if my colleagues recall, last year what we did was we invited 3 gallery owners, local gallery owners, to help us and to cure the exhibition. And we might invite those, we might invite other people involved in the arts. Actually, we might invite maybe somebody from the Downtown Glendale Merchants Association. So we want to be some kind of a community-based. And it was suggested by Councilman Najarian, which I wholeheartedly agreed, that we will open it up maybe even today, for some volunteers to volunteer to be a member of the subcommittee from the community. And, if we have more, let's say, 20 volunteers, then obviously it will be up to Ms. Marashian, maybe the Arts Commission, to narrow it down. And if we don't, then we will appoint whoever this commission feels that is the best person or the best committee to cure this. But the good thing is we have started this here now in November, which gives us probably about 5 months, approximately around 5 months, to be able to do a decent exhibition. However, again, within these 5 months, we have the Diamond Awards, we have all kinds of other things that we have to do. So again, although we have physically 5 months, but time is, again, short and of the essence. And, with that, if there is any, I don't know if I clarified some of your questions, but go ahead, yes.
I'm still a little unclear on the scope of this subcommittee. Is it correct to say that the main responsibility is to plan for the exhibit at the gallery? Is that the main piece? And perhaps if there's some lecture or something related to that showing?
Versus?
Well, when we started talking about speakers and dances and concerts,
I think, yes, I think,
that will be completely different.
that will be part of
the
the...
art exhibition, and if there are some secondary art programming, then it will be lectures, music, performing arts.
Yes.
Basically, I think I understand your question, and if I don't answer, please ask again. You know, the main event on April 24th usually has a huge arts element in it, which usually is taken care of by Artists for Kids and the Alex Theater and, you know, all the others. We are not connected to that. So the main event for the night of April 24th, whatever it is, that main committee will decide what they want to do. But in addition to that, and in, simultaneously in the month of April, as my colleagues again recall, we have the brand galleries available, and we have the commitment for the whole month. If we do the subcommittee will be responsible for the exhibition in brand galleries for the whole month of April, and any side and additional events or programs that the subcommittee might come, to think that that's the right thing to do. And if the subcommittee thinks that we only need an exhibition, then we'll be only an exhibition there. But we have nothing to do with the main event. That week of remembrance, at that night of April 24th, the Arts and Culture Commission will not be active in that committee.
Part of I think what I'm trying to get at is there have been events other than that event that have been planned over the last few years with which I'm familiar, lectures and other programming that committee has handled. Will they continue to do that?
Right.
And will they continue to do that, or might this subcommittee come up with ideas to share with them, and we partner and see who handles?
The subcommittee is going to have a liaison with the main committee anyway. So if there are some ideas and something coming back and forth, obviously everybody will be open to that. But again, the scope of the subcommittee would be the Man's Humanity to Man in Brand Gallery and any lectures or events or anything connected to that, not to the main one. Commissioner Derawanesian.
Well, sort of, I was trying to clarify the same thing. We have had on April 24th, for that specific day, people who have done the lectures, have done different presentations, as he said. That is separate. This is a 2-week, I think we have 2 weeks, correct?
No, I think we have 4 weeks.
4 weeks for the whole month of April?
I think we have 4
correct?
weeks.
Okay. We have different things scheduled for the month, which is with a larger scope for all different cultures, all different events, all different cultural inhumanity or even social inhumanity of man-to-man exhibition. So that needs to be scheduled, agendized as far as when, what kind of activities, what kind of presentations there's going to be. The other one was a 1 day. Now, we might use some of those people if need be, if the commission or if the subcommittee decides, or we might be completely using different people, because this is not going to be specific for the Armenian genocide, not at all. It should be for everything else that we consider in the community and for all cultures. So that's why we might use some of those people, we might not, whatever commission and the subcommittee decides, we will go accordingly. But we need to see what we want to plan for that time.
Commissioner Solis?
This is 4 months away.
Approximately.
So what happens, so if the commission is folded by then and we go into the art council, what happens? Do we know? Is there no art exhibition?
No. The answer is, as far as I know, the commissioner is here and is going to be here in the next 4 months. And if it's not here, some other body will be there. And apart from all of that, the subcommittee will be there to get this task. This is a city-sponsored and requested event, so I'm sure we will definitely take care of that. And on the status of the commission, we have another item on the agenda later on we will discuss, but let's not even think about that because it's not going to happen. Any other questions? One thing which I really think is important is for us to do this as soon as possible and get the subcommittee together, because the subcommittee one of the main tasks of the subcommittee is to have some standards and guidelines on what constitutes an art piece which is related to the subject matter. And that is a very important thing. For instance, is domestic violence man's inhumanity to man? In some, maybe it's on individual basis, yes, but on a kind of collective basis, I'm not quite sure. So the subcommittee has to come up with their standards and their guidelines, where they can then have their word out to invite artists to participate. And the subcommittee might decide, well, maybe it's not only visual, maybe a piece of music would be, maybe a sculpture would be, maybe whatever. But the subcommittee has to be formed as soon as possible to put the standards and move forward. Commissioner Kewane.
Actually, I saw Commissioner Solis raise his hand. I'll forego my turn. I need to hear, honestly, more discussion about this, because if we don't know yet what the guidelines are, how are we going to even talk about planning an event, and how would we choose and decide what the guidelines are for an event that we're going to put on? I think where I stand right now with this is, I don't even know how we would move forward with this item. Approval of subcommittee, we don't even have names or anything, so we're just voting right now to approve that we should look into finding people for a subcommittee. Is that what the actual action is?
Yes, that's where we're all gonna start.
Okay, so that would be what we're voting on for this.
Right.
Okay.
And
yes, Commissioner Bartlett.
And presumably someone could suggest that we allow the chair to move forward to open the committee to the public, or to take some certain steps to get the committee together. And we might, I think the hope in this meeting is to share any suggestions we have, either for the method or for particular names or groups who might be solicited to participate.
Yeah, I think that's a very good suggestion. Well, maybe we can recommend people. Maybe we can decide now that, let's say, by the end of this month, we open to the public. We announce today, at the end of our meeting, to invite the public to be part of that subcommittee. Or, we can make all kinds of decisions to start moving forward. Commissioner Solis.
Well, let's move forward. So first thing we'd have to do is select 2 commissioners, correct?
We could do up to 3.
Up to 3. Well, who were the 2 that served last time? Because I think it should be 2 different.
Last time it was Commissioner Devanesian and myself.
Okay. Well, I'm not volunteering per se, but I believe it should be 2 different. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Any other comments on this?
Well, I nominate the same 2, because I think you guys both have a really strong passion for this event, and will definitely do better than I would. I have a passion, but not as strong.
I'd second that nomination for a couple of reasons. One, I served on the broader committee the year before, and I really enjoy that. But I know in the months ahead, I have some other concerns to address before April, so I'll be pretty busy. I will offer support however I can, but in terms of being on a committee, I'd be happy to have the 2 who have already been involved serve.
Would you like to be on the committee?
I guess all fingers are pointed at me, since we already have 2. Depending on what day and time the meetings are, I would love to, because I think that, having seen last year's program, I think there's so much more that we can do, and I would like to put in my expertise as much as I can, and to bring in as many people as I possibly can to this event.
Okay. The commission can have 3 members in there. We can decide whether it's up to... I'm sorry? We can decide if the subcommittee is going to be 7 members, or maybe even more. I think we don't really need many more, because it might create, other problems. But 7 is a good number to me, and I really would like the public to have an input, and I don't want the commission members to be a majority of that committee. So that's my personal feeling. Yes, Mr. Chapcha.
Thank you, Commissioner Gregorian. Just a question to the city attorney. Can they have 3, or does that constitute open the Brown Act issue? That'll be fine with 3?
Yeah, we are a commission of 7, so 3 would be fine. And also, if you have any suggestions, any community members that you would like, I think probably another thing would be, maybe we can start giving some names out, and maybe Rivsime will write those names down, and then we contact these people. We might think somebody is the best, but that person may not have time to do it, just like our own Commissioner Wagner. So I think if we have some names, suggestions, let's do that, and then we probably will have to pass a motion authorizing Rivsime and the chair, or whoever the chair is from next month, to to start forming this subcommittee and start working on it. We really need to. We are fighting against time.
If I could say something, please.
Sure.
To help you out to choose the right subcommittee members, I think it's very important for you to know the role of the subcommittee. What is it that they're going to do? What are the skills that they have? Are they going to be able to be instrumental, helpful? So I wrote down some information here that I like to share with you. I think the subcommittee should be able to approve the theme of the exhibition, contacting artists. That's a very difficult part because the subject matter is not an easy one. So it won't be easy to find good artists enough for a huge, beautiful gallery space. And it doesn't have to be 80 artists. It can be only 20 with many pieces. But these are very important things that you have to keep in mind when you're choosing the subcommittee members. Then creating secondary art programs like I mentioned already, doing the lectures, or bringing the schools involved, or sponsorship, promotion. People who are going to be part of the subcommittee should be able to really be active and do something. It's not all about getting together, having meeting. I think once you have the subcommittee members formed, the first thing we have to do is schedule a meeting in the first week of December to get together, talk about the details, about the theme, and few things, and the prospectus has to be get ready. I already talked to Alisa about the details. It's going to be something similar to the Open Studio Tour or Brand 37 actually. And then once we send out the prospectus, which is going to be sent out, has to be ready, printed, and sent out sometimes in mid-January, then we will have a deadline for the submissions to get, and then the juror process is going to take time. You think 4 months is a good enough time to prepare a good show? Not really. It will take time. So these are very important. If we have a timeline, deadlines, and people who are really committed to help.
Commissioner Wagner first.
I would be prepared to have us vote on these 3 members and ask that they meet and work with Rivsime to find the rest of the committee members and get moving. That I could form that. Will you accept that as a motion? I move that we approve these 3 and ask that they work with Ms. Marashi and find the other suitable and willing people to help serve on this committee and get started.
Okay.
I would just thank you, Chairman. I would just modify the motion to one that you create the subcommittee and then and nominate the 3 people who you've recommended.
And also, probably part of the motion should be to empower them to, even put some kind of a guidelines on, how we want to handle it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I will revamp my motion to. I move that we form the committee, the subcommittee, that we appoint these 3 named members to that subcommittee with the direction to meet and confer with our staff person, Ripsime, and that the subcommittee be empowered to decide on the theme and begin the selection, the process for selecting the artists.
Okay.
That enough?
Is that clear for everybody?
I still second
You
that
are
motion.
still seconding. Okay. Let's open it to discussion, although we have discussed it a little. Commissioner Kebanya.
I totally forgot what I was going to say.
That's a good one.
Can I say something while he's trying to remember?
Sure, go ahead.
And for the beginning, later on, of course, we will report each time that we're meeting, if that's whoever is here who's going to be assigned or appointed to do it. But meanwhile, this year we might agendize something which might be a little bit more limited because we have very little time, but the assumption is with Mr. Najarian and with the city that if this works well, we are going to have a tradition that we are going to follow, and then we can make it bigger and more elaborate every year as it goes. But we can start with smaller, because I can see that Commissioner Kevanyan has rightly so some concerns. So, yeah, we might want everything, but we need to see how and what we can do, and accordingly, then we have to invite the people who are experts in that area, or have people participate and decide what direction we are taking.
Yes.
I remembered, actually,
It's your turn.
that was actually exactly what I was going to say, that in the future what we should do is, I mean, as an artist, for me to prepare any kind of a musical program within 4 months is, quite frankly, ridiculous. It wouldn't...
Ridiculously long or short?
No, it's ridiculously short. That's almost no time whatsoever. I mean, I think that's a consideration for the future, obviously, but that's something for us to keep in mind, is that this year we're not going to be able to do something spectacular with fireworks and whatever. But I mean,
fireworks.
Right, well, we'd have to come to Mr. Chapchin again for permits for that.
I don't get fireworks permits.
So I mean that's something for us to consider too, because I think 4 months is really little time to do anything. I mean, I have tons of ideas right now, but I mean the people that I would have to get in touch with and the favors I would have to ask of them it's a huge task.
You know,
And
I think we all realize that 4 months is really short, but it's much better than last time, which was a few weeks.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, and that's the thing. I kind of hoped that we would have learned from it last time.
So let's try to do it in 4 months, and then if we can, get
Sure,
there, then great. If not, we'll ask for more time. Commissioner Wagner.
Well, I was just reminded of the long-running 20-year tradition that we had at the Methodist Church, which ended a few years ago when our member Joanne Kate retired from that volunteer job. But we had a called the Madonna Crush Festival, and it was an art festival that grew over the years so that there were artists expecting to participate. And she collected art from all over Southern California on a theme of mothers and children. And the community misses it. I know we do, but I think that's what we're saying. We'll start, and as the expectation grows, then it will be easier. The artists who know what work they're creating may create art in anticipation of this.
And there might be some artists who already have some work already. So, we'll take this into consideration. But if there is no major debate on this, there is a motion and a second. If there is no burning...
Last comment, if
Yes,
I
go
could
ahead.
make one. I just want you also to remember that we are not going to concentrate on our local Glendale artists only.
Yes.
We're really going further and inviting regional artists to be part of this show.
I think that's a great idea.
Could I say just one thing? When I think of Brand Library, and everybody talks about Brand Library as the best music collection, information on music, and people from all over, students come over to check their information. I was thinking, I don't know, maybe this is thinking too big. I wish one day this could become also a cultural event that people would really look forward to come and do their presentation. And schools and universities and people in general, as you said, it should be open for everyone. So they could come and enjoy and take notes and even do little studies if they need to, and it would be a kind of cultural thing of all these events that we all have in our hearts and minds, and it would be spoken through the different art exhibitions that we'll have. So we'll see how it works, and I hope we would do that Madonna type of a thing that Commissioner Wagner talks about, because it needs to grow. It cannot be all of a sudden. We are not a major production, whatever organization that could put everything together. It has to start to, we are giving birth to it, and hopefully it would grow.
Well, and it's up to us to make it successful so that it will grow. Okay, now that we have this, let's have the roll call, and then there is another issue that we have to discuss on this. Let's have the roll call on the motion, please.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Duvernisian?
Yes?
Commissioner Solis?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Kiwanian?
Yes.
Chairperson Gregorian?
Yes. Okay, thank you. So we know the motion. I think the next one I would like this commission to consider and recommend is, again, a timeline where we can ask the public to, volunteer and come forward, and before our next meeting. So may I recommend that maybe we announce today, and later on maybe through a news press release, and maybe set a deadline for the end of this month.
I would think that would be within the scope of the committee's responsibility. That we can certainly say, public watch for the announcements. We're forming a committee, and the group can meet and confer.
Could I ask something and suggest, I don't know if it's possible, people who are volunteering to bring and do their exhibits or participate in this, sort of if they would have a little kind of a resume or something which says how they could be helpful and what is their area of expertise, because just everybody volunteering it might not be. We might have people from the same area, too many people. So let's narrow down then the scope so they can all bring it in, and then it could be by the city or the commission or whichever way, or the committee would decide like what do we need to keep there and what we need to do. Yes.
I don't know if we have enough time to do a press release and all that kind of stuff. There's not enough time. The end of the month is a week or two away, with Thanksgiving in the middle of it. So I don't think
it should be by recommendations, word of mouth, or
emails or something.
Very,
because we're running out of time.
To know someone who really qualifies for the subcommittee. But if you make an announcement and we get all these calls and group of people, then it's really going to be unnecessary time waste on choosing people.
Okay. All right. So
put it on a city's website.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments or questions on this issue?
Move on.
Yes, Commissioner Lee.
So my recommendation would be for you three to set up a meeting next few days to...
First week of December.
First week of December, yeah.
Will give us enough time to form the committee, to know who's going to be at the subcommittee, and also have guidelines.
No. What he's saying is different. The subcommittee might meet in the first week of December, but the members who were appointed today need to do it beforehand to get the subcommittee going. So, right? That's what your recommendation is.
Perfect.
Okay. So, just after this meeting, we'll have a quick discussion on this. Okay. All right. Any other issues on this?
Move on.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, please.
Rescheduling the Diamond Awards.
At our last meeting, it was recommended by the Commission to put this item on the agenda to discuss rescheduling the Diamond Awards. The extended deadline for receiving the nominations was October 31st, and as you know, we had only 13 at that time. As of today, we have only 17 nominations for the Diamond Awards. Personally, I think it's a very weak list to go through with organizing this huge Diamond Award event. But it's totally up to you. The strongest category that we have is the artist category of 6 nominations and 4 nominations for the art organizations. All the other categories are 1 or 2. So I would really recommend to continue receiving nominations by calling, making phone calls, personal phone calls, to not only art lovers, artists, art organizations, also our city developers, people who have been working with artists, and encourage them to bring nominations. By the end of this year, if we have enough nominations, we can still go ahead and do the putting together the committee. The panelists drawn from a selection panel pool will be contacted by the staff and start confirming their availability and see if they're willing to serve on this judges panel.
Commissioner Keivanian.
Ms. Marashan, what would your recommendation be for how long do you think that how far ahead do we need to reschedule this?
I would recommend to go ahead and have an official ceremony date, let's say for early March, but by the end of this year we will continue receiving nominations, which will give us enough time to organize the event, to reserve the space, order the awards, and do the press releases, invitations. There are so many things that has to be done.
Do you think that because now we have the Man's and Humanity to Man event, do you think that's going to interfere a little bit, or is that going to be something that staff may not be able to handle? I mean, what are your feelings about that? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. I mean,
So you're not putting us on the spot, really. We talked about this yesterday, and I think she feels that she can handle that,
Okay.
both of them.
well, I mean, it's fine.
Wonder Woman. No.
Well, I mean, after the Open Studios tour, I think I'm convinced that you are.
No, seriously, it is a possibility to do it well.
Okay.
But we need to remember that we need enough nominees to go ahead and organize the whole event.
Commissioner Wagner, you had the question, I think, right?
That was really my question, the date, when she would recommend it. Well, I would certainly rather be able to be present than not, and since I was not going to be available in early December because of the school board conference, and because, of course, December is upon us, we have to do that. We have to move it. So I move that we move the event to March, and at a date to be determined.
I will have exact date for our next meeting.
And that it be, that you not wait in case we don't have a December meeting, that the date be approved in conjunction with the city calendar and Parks and Recreation, and anybody else who has to do it.
As long as you approve early March ceremony.
And that we extend the nomination until the nominations until the end of the year.
Early March, is it going to be, do you know, at the same place that we were planning for December, or we don't know yet? We don't know the venue where we are going to hold the event?
Originally, it was decided to take place at the Americana, at the community room, and I believe we will have to go back and check with them.
Mr. Chapchan, do you know if early March would be available?
That's not going to be a problem. The main thing is for us to have enough nominations.
I think that's more important.
Yes, of course.
If it's in the beginning or in the mid-March, it's still not going to make a big difference, as long as we're going to go ahead and do the Diamond Award.
Okay. Commissioner Solis, you had your hand up.
Two things. Did someone second that motion?
I was going to actually.
Oh, I'll second the motion. Okay. But two, at what point are we going to be like, okay, we just need to move forward? Because what if we get 18, in the past, this hasn't been that huge of an event, maybe 100 people. Say we come to March and we have 17 nominees or 18 nominees. I mean, are we going to postpone it again? Or at that point, are we going to just have the...
Whatever you suggest. If you think we should go ahead and organize the event with 13 people, that's my personal opinion, that we shouldn't go ahead with something such a important Diamond Awards citywide event, very important event. If we're gonna do it just because we want to do it, we're gonna hurt the integrity.
Or maybe not do it. Believe me, I'm not saying to do it. Maybe even not do it. The point is, I'm not trying to push to do it.
We need to wait and see when we're going to have enough nominations. That's why we've been asking the commission and everybody else to make the personnel calls, encourage people to send their nominations. For 2 months in a row, we've been rescheduling the deadline, and so far we got only 3 or 4 more.
You know, last time, if my colleagues recall, we discussed and decided that each one of us will, contact our contacts and pick up the phone and call them and encourage them or even nominate them. My feeling is that most of us have not done it as much as we would have liked to. So it is really up to us. I think we should. I think each one of us should commit ourselves to calling probably 5-10 people that we know and encourage them and also maybe nominate them. I mean, I'll be very happy to nominate, 1 or 2
Artists
on these categories.
can nominate themselves. It doesn't have to be someone else to nominate them.
Yes.
They can nominate their own.
So I think it is important. It really, the personal phone call is important. So let's commit ourselves again to, to each other and to the community that we are going to pick the phone up and call some people and ask them to, and encourage them to participate. I think that's the best way to go. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is the list of past recipients on the website?
Yes.
Okay, so we can...
We have all the list of the
Okay.
past recipients, and also
That'll
we
be-
have the
that'll be
judges panels list. All
Oh, the past recipients are on the website?
on our website.
Oh, excellent.
So that will help.
Absolutely, yeah.
Still have to go to the artsandculture.org Open Studio Tour. On the right-hand side, you'll see Diamond Awards. That's where you find
Oh, great.
the list.
Excellent.
Once we know for sure we're going to go ahead and start with organizing, then we will have a new page for the Diamond Awards, which will have some photos from the past events and something similar to Open Studio.
That's very encouraging. Okay, shall we extend to end of December and move on? And there is a motion and second, right? Okay. Any more comments on this? Okay, let's. Is the motion clear, Mr. Espinoza?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Duvenisian?
Yes?
Commissioner Solis?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Kavanian?
Yes.
Chairperson Gregorian?
Yes.
You get the mic.
Yes. All right.
You got to do it all
Thank you.
over.
For the record this time.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, please.
Reports. Status of Arts and Culture Commission.
Commissioner Kivanian requested a report on the status of Arts and Culture Commission. The staff has no information in regards to the status of the commission at this time, but as soon as we have that information, we'll be more than happy to share it with you.
All right, next.
Mr. Chapton, that's priceless. The shrug was was priceless. Well, I mean, I really hope we do have some kind of information. Although I have to say, I was kind of surprised that Chairman Gregorian said that he knows for sure that we'll be here for another 4 months. Is there any kind of insider information that you'd like to reveal?
The inside was really inside me, which was my gut feeling.
So it was more hopeful.
No, but all the jokes aside, you see, in the council meeting, there was suggested a task force be formed. So this task force is going to apparently just evaluate everything and then come back with recommendations. The task force has not been yet formed, and whether it's formed and when it will be formed, we don't know. Obviously, the task force will need several weeks or few months to come up with recommendations. By the time the task force goes back to the city hall and by the time it goes through the process, my inside information tells me, my gut feeling tells me my educated guess tells me that it will take much longer than 4 months. So that's basically why I said we will be here. And even if we are not here, some other body will be here which will take up probably even a better role on this. So, as of this moment, the task force is not formed. They are working on this. I think the city attorney's office is working on this to create the parameters for that. And whenever the council decides, it's up to the council. But as far as I am concerned, we are here right now. We have a duty to the public, to the community, and to the city, and we just have to do our duties as vigorously as possible, as diligently as possible. And if tomorrow something comes up, then we'll handle it the way it is. But I don't even like, and I don't like to think of the fact that, oh, we might be lame ducks, so let's not do anything, let's abdicate our responsibilities, let's, just sit here and wait. No, we have a duty here to do, to our community, and we have to do it until the moment that we are informed otherwise. Well, that's basically my point.
I certainly understand that. My reason for really the questioning is that just like when a president is nominated, they do the nomination 2 months before they're actually inaugurated, and there's a reason for that period of time that takes place, so that there is a clear transition, so that there is that trade-off of where do our responsibilities end, and how does that new body receive the new set of whatever it is that we're handing to them. That's the only reason for my questioning. Of course, I'm not gonna sit here and disagree with or cause dissension amongst the ranks on our commission just because we don't know what's happening really to our commission. So I mean, I just want my colleagues to feel comfortable, and the reason why I asked that question and the reason why I wanted some kind of an update is just so that so that we can do our housekeeping and house cleaning when there is some kind of a transition of a new body coming in. It's the only reason. And of course, I know I'm confident in my colleagues that we're going to sit here and we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're not going to stop in any situation.
Any comments?
No, what's my feeling on this is that whatever happens, even if it's changed, we guys are going to be in the subcommittees carrying on and doing whatever we have started, or would help the city with whatever they plan, because somehow we have a history or some kind of experience in that. So whichever way, we are at the service of the community.
Right.
Fine.
So I think let's do our work, and let's be patient, and whatever the task force is. Actually, there was a talk that this task force will include all the commission members. That was one of the comments that a couple of council members made. So none of us has even been informed of that. So let's not even think about that. That's something that we will cross the bridge when we come to. Right now, we are here as a commission. We have a duty. We have plans. We have other programs. We just go ahead and do whatever is best.
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, sounds good.
Any other comments? Okay. Next item on the agenda, please.
Status of strategic plan.
Okay, Commissioner Lee requested an update of the strategic plan on the October Commission meeting. At the July Commission meeting, as you recall, Director of Parks and Recs, Mr. Chapchian, had a report prepared for the Commission, which was based on the original 1998 Sheldon Baker strategic plan. After our phone conversation yesterday, I went through the original strategic plan. Wasn't able to make the whole copy for you, but I'm working on it. I just marked all the other proposed programs and projects that were not completed. So once it's ready, I will mail it to you or email it to you or send you a copy.
That's great, because that was one of the things I sort of felt a little ashamed when it was brought out at City Council, when they mentioned that we really didn't finish from the first set of strategic plan from Sheldon Baker, from former Mayor Sheldon Baker. So that's why my push was to see, hey, whatever we haven't finished, let's evaluate it, and let's use that as our target for the next few months for us to complete the rest of the strategic plan. And then in the meantime, hopefully the new group that is set up can help us along to build the next strategic plan to move for arts and culture to move on in the city.
Commissioner Wagner.
With respect to the the earlier plan, and I don't have it with me. It's at home, but many of those, they're broad plans, and one could look at it and say that there are a number of areas that we've done work. There's always more that we could do. It hasn't come to fruition entirely, but we've worked along. So but although discussing the strategic plan is not something I care to do particularly, there is one thing, and maybe I'll just raise it at this moment, and we could actually bring it for discussion at another time. But one thing that I see that is a need that perhaps this commission might have a hand in would be the use of facilities like the Adams Square gas station building. It has been used now twice for art exhibits, but there is not as I understand it, a regular policy in place or group that is in charge of keeping keeping exhibits going there. And if we might have, I don't know if Mr. Chapchian has or you have any information on what the current status of that is, but I know as a member of the Adams Hill neighborhood, I've heard from people who would like to see that ongoing, and I don't know if that's something that we might busy ourselves with along with the April events and the Diamond Awards.
We get phone calls regarding the Adams Square mini gas station regularly, and almost every month we have had some artists doing a project. I have a general announcement later on about the Adams Hills gas station related Christmas event. But before then, we had Michael Sheehan showing his artwork. Yes. I am not aware of policies or programs. Regular programming we haven't started yet.
Well, that would be my suggestion, that we work with the city, or that someone work with the city to help develop a plan so that artists know how it works, and we could start a calendar. And there are probably other venues that the city might act to display regularly.
Yeah, we were working with Arlene Vidor and the Historic Society about programming that space, and we will be working on a policy for that. So, yeah, we could work with the commission on it.
It would seem to me that it might belong to whatever art body the city continues to have. A historical commission is fine, but if I were an artist, I would expect to start with the Arts Commission or Glendale Arts, if that's the scheduling body at some point. But I look forward to the conversation.
I know that we've talked to several artists. Part of the problem is heat in there, as well lighting. So there are some special circumstances in there that preclude it from some artwork, but we'll be developing a policy for that.
Okay.
Can I just add one thing, George? Over the last 2 weeks, I've actually gone on the web to different art exhibit venues across the country, and I've actually downloaded about 20 different art policies, and it's specifically to think about the gas station, because Michael Sheehan has asked about that. So I'm gathering information. There's no policy, but I have lots of information to see what other places do, So I want to let you know that.
I'll be able to share that. He probably knows already, but...
And also on the update for the strategic plan, I think on the second page of the memo, there is a list of accomplishments. It's not like nothing has been done. And this was something that you all worked with David Pletner as part of that assessment of what's been done so far. So you do have the Diamond Awards, 2 years. You have the Open Studio Tour has been going on for 4 years. So there isn't a set of accomplishments. Of course, more can be done. There are some things that haven't been accomplished, but there's at least a list of 10 to 12 things that have been accomplished to date. And some are ongoing and some aren't. I think, for example, the artist market on Brand, which went on for 3 seasons. I guess it didn't fare so well. Hasn't happened again, but those sort of things did happen. There was a grant application, I think, an award of $210,000 for the schools to use it with the schools, and I think that was done as well when he was here. So some things have been accomplished.
And I think Unity Fest was a major event that, our commission has participated and we have done well.
Yeah, and so much more can be done.
And in April events, whatever the city has done, there are many, many accomplishments in that area as well.
I suppose the commission, in its eagerness to do more, is not satisfied with the accomplishments. We want more. We want the general policy and a kind of a more long-term policy to know how to accomplish that. And, that was basically, I think, probably your concern, Commissioner Lee, correct? But are you satisfied with the...
Yeah. Because like I said, again, I just wanted the public to know that there has been a lot done, contrary to what one of the councilmen said. It sounded like that the commission was here just mulling around and not doing anything. And that's one of my points, was to bring this out to the open and say, hey, there has been a lot of accomplishments. We haven't completed the strategic plan from the first time around, but we're going to work on it. That's our goal. That's what we're assigned here to do, appointed here to do.
Okay. So any more comments on this issue? All right, let's go on to the next item, please.
Chalk event in downtown Glendale.
Wow, we are going to get excited too about what we are going to hear. Let's hear that.
Stated in my report, for the first time, City of Glendale is commissioning an artist to do a chalk event in the downtown area of Glendale. We reviewed several portfolios of different artists and found one award-winning artist, very well-known, from San Diego, and we're hoping that we will finish negotiating a few details with her, last details, and the event will take place the first week of December, first week or second, but we're thinking first week to be on a safe side. In case if it rains on the first week, we can move the event to the second week. The theme of the street painting image will be Renaissance. She's been sending her portfolio and different images. I'm not going to share every detail. I'll keep you, I'll let you surprised when you go and see the space. But the location for a street painting is the most important part of the project. It has to be full of traffic and nice surface. We decided to do it on a signature street on a Brand Boulevard, where the Grandville Cafe.
Grandville.
Granville Cafe. Next to Granville Cafe, there is a new bakery which has a beautiful, nice white sidewalk area. We're working toward the permit, and that's about it. We're very excited. This can become an annual event, festival, but for the first time in the city of Glendale, we decided to go with one master artist to experience and share this creating of the artwork with the community, with the public, and see how it's going to be received.
So we don't know the exact date yet?
Weekend. It will be I just received my email right before coming here. She was suggesting to have the event on the first weekend. We will go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me just say also, the intent really is to work with the business association as well. And I talked to Elisa Glickman yesterday about other potential sites, but we want to see if we can have the artist here at least 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, just to attract attention to the art and bring people in. I think the intent when we first thought about it was, let's just expose people to this, who may have never been exposed to it, and having seen some of these, they're really fantastic works of art. The three-dimensional ones are really just to be
they're amazing.
Amazing, yeah. You almost feel like you have to climb in. It's almost, I don't know if you've never seen the three-dimensional ones. It's fantastic. So just to cordon it off, let people walk by, experience the artist actually doing the art itself. But we do have to, we located one possible location, but I do want to work with the Merchants Association as well, see where they'd like to
And
go.
we are also talking about making this image as a permanent image on a canvas most probably that will be possible. She was doing her own research to come up with a technique that it will be possible to create on a canvas, and actually the rest of the work will be done on the street while people are experiencing. But it will be also possible to fold it up and re-exhibit it over and over.
Yeah, my thought was, if we can do that, we can take it, maybe put it at Parcher Plaza over here, or some of the community centers, and just lay it out, just cordon it off, and let people experience it. So just, have it exposed all over.
That's wonderful.
You can do that.
But,
The whole idea was Mr. Chapchin's idea.
yeah.
About
I'd like to
the
nominate
event.
George Chapshin for the Diamond Award.
for what?
For the Diamond Awards.
Okay.
All categories.
For promoting the arts.
Buy him dinner for that, I think.
I wish we would have a more exact time, because then we could announce and we could ask the public to, look forward to this day and
Well,
time.
it is going to be a 2-day event, because this kind of work takes at least 12 to 15 hours of work to create the image. So she has to work for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Most probably she will start from 10 to 4 before it gets dark, 2 days in a row, and she will be accommodated.
So it's going to be either December 6th and 7th or December 13th and 14th.
As of now, we're thinking about December 6th and 7th.
Yeah, and December 13 and 14, I think there's Tuba Christmas, if I'm not
Too
mistaken.
close.
So I don't know how that may play out with that, whether or not we can get a bigger crowd, but we'll see. We'll talk to Barry and Elisa.
Okay, so, I just will invite the public later on to keep an eye on this, because it's an amazing
We'll get the word out.
event.
We'll get the word out to the public.
Okay, great. Okay, any questions? All right, next, I'm sorry, did you want to ask?
Just some information. I actually went to a chalk festival in Pasadena, Paseo, Colorado, and in seeing what they can do to, in a large scale, have a lot of different exhibitors, I would look forward to something like that in Glendale.
Actually, this artist, her name is Dr. Anne-Marie Darag, and she's one of the first place recipients from Pasadena Art Festival, Chalk Festival.
Good.
Yes.
I was just curious, where's the funding coming from this?
From the arts and culture budget.
What?
Well, we've got some savings.
Oh, it really does exist?
Well, no, actually, we have some savings. As you know, Ripsime is an hourly, so we lost a permanent position with benefits, that type of thing. So there are some savings that we can tap.
And there's George's personal savings.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear that we're actually paying for events and so forth.
Commissioner Waga?
I don't know if this is in order or out of order, but it's a question I forgot to ask before, and it relates to the budget. And is there also a budget for the subcommittee on the...
I'm going towards that.
Okay.
I will be able, me and Elisa actually are working together. I wasn't able to check my emails yet, but as soon as I have that information, I'll share it with you. That's why we need to have sponsors and donors involved as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chapchin, you give us some good news today. There is some budget around.
There is a budget. It's just a matter of
You might just win the Diamond Award.
Fixes it.
I don't do these for awards, really.
Actually, unfortunately, he's not eligible for this. But
Really?
He gives good. I saw him get an award one time.
So
He
much
gives
for
great
my acceptance
speeches.
speech, then.
Yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda, please.
Commission staff comments, nomination and election for a new chairperson in the month of December.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
At the last commission meeting, Commissioner Solis asked about the election of the new chairperson. We checked our records, and the new chairperson will be nominated and elected at our next meeting, on December 18 meeting. Commissioner Grigorian was nominated and elected to be the new chairperson of the Arts and Culture Commission at the December 13, 2007 meeting for 1 year term.
Great. So next month, we'll just have to come
Next
back
month,
with
you will come
Yeah,
back.
and usually the nominations comes at the meeting, so
All right.
get ready.
George
Okay.
Chapchin, I nominate
I nominate George.
It's the running joke, I think, of the meeting.
Would it be useful for members who are interested to email either the chair or Ripsime that, I don't know.
No, that's not done. Let's just all think about it and do it at the meeting next time. I mean, I don't know if it's. I don't think it has ever done before. But if somebody is really not interested, they can tell at the meeting that they are not, or they cannot.
Well, it's also important that there not be conversations ahead of time with decisions, sort of being made out of the public view. So
well, that would be a violation. So we won't do that.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate all 5. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Every day one person, like a team
Okay.
leadership.
Co-chairmanship.
All right, next.
Okay. But if somebody wants to announce that they are interested, they can. Right?
Or should we leave
Okay.
it for next session?
Okay, let's leave it to the next session. But get ready.
Let's
Think
do
about
what we've
this.
always been doing.
All right.
Move it to the next month.
Okay. Next item on the agenda.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
another announcement to make. Just an announcement.
On this item. On this item on the
For
agenda.
all comments section. It's not on the agenda.
No. Okay. Let's just go forward with the agenda first. There is a staff comment later.
It's staff comments. That's what I'm saying.
There are 3 items under
Yeah,
Commission staff
And then
that she wants to
anything else
announce.
you have to add, maybe.
Oh, so you want to talk about the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Sure. All right.
Oh, and let me announce it.
Let me announce it.
Burbank Tower
It's
Banner
on the
Art
agenda.
Competition.
Exactly. It's on the agenda. That's why I was confused. I'm sorry.
They pay me the big bucks for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Now it's your turn
I
again.
was contacted by Dr. John Schoff of the Glendale Unified School District regarding Burbank Tower Banner Competition, which will take place, it was done last year and it will take place again this coming year. In February, they will have their presentations for the arts and culture to review the artworks, the potential winners. For the February meeting, they will have it ready.
And they will show it also?
They will have the artworks, yes.
Very good, excellent.
So that's when it comes to us for final vote in February?
They already, yes, competing, the school children are competing
They're
for the
doing it
banner.
now,
Yes.
okay.
Once they have choose the winners or potential winners.
Finalists.
The finalists, then they will bring the artworks like it was done last year.
I just want to say how fun it is to go to the airport and look up and see that art, and I do love that plane. I was in Washington, D.C. last month with our kids. Our daughter had a little surgery. But afterwards, we went to a few days later to the field just north of Reagan Airport. There's a park, and we stopped at the park along the river, and we were playing catch, and the plane came over, and all of a sudden I thought, I've seen this before, and I realized that I felt like I had stepped into that banner. It was the most magical moment because the plane came low, and there was the big grassy field, and it was, anyway, I think it's beautiful, and I'm delighted that we're continuing to participate.
Great.
That's nice. The magical moment for me would have been my mother playing catch with me.
Well, she has done so many others.
I know.
I would support her in every possible way.
You are not catchable, Commissioner. Okay, next item on the agenda, please.
Christmas event at Mini Park at Adams Hills.
Yes, this is the item that we talked earlier, the Adam Hills. Homeowners Association has contacted me in regards to the Christmas event at Mini Park at Adams Hills. The Homeowners Association has purchased a 9-foot pre-lit an artificial Christmas tree which will be placed inside of the gas station. They are planning to have a Glendale High School bell choir to perform there, and also then they will host a Christmas caroling from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. They just didn't give me the exact date. but this is something that they're planning to have at the mini park gas station.
Who contacted you? Michael Tehan? Or?
No, Patty Silversher.
Oh, okay.
She's from Adam Hills.
One Hill.
Homeowners Association.
Adams Hill.
Adams. Yeah.
One Hill.
Yes.
Hill.
I can't remember. I was informed of the date too, but I didn't get it in my book.
I need to practice.
Oh, you're good.
Well, that's great.
Okay. Any comments on this? All right. Let's have the next item on the agenda, please.
We're still doing staff, we're now doing staff, no, we did staff comments, we're now doing commission comments.
Oh, staff comments.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Chapcha.
If I can just, I'd like to invite the commission and the public to our tree lighting ceremony on December 3rd here at Parcher Plaza at 7 o'clock. And we'll have a choir there, I think, from one of the schools.
Yes.
And the mayor will light the Christmas tree, the official Christmas tree, the city's Christmas tree.
December 3rd?
Wednesday, December 3rd.
You should have gotten an invitation.
I got,
Yes, I got it.
once again, I will be in San Diego, so I'll miss it again, but I'll think of you.
Okay.
And we'll think of you too.
Hopefully, it's not as congested as I just heard last weekend at the Americana for their tree lighting.
Hopefully it is, actually.
We get a fairly good-sized crowd, not 2,500 people, but we do get a fairly good-sized crowd.
Yeah, it's a regular thing that happens every year at the City Hall.
And we have Santa
Americana
Claus.
was different. It was the first time, so.
Our tree's not as big as the tree.
And their tree was really huge, yeah.
If it's too congested, we can just have Amador sing and people
Clear the place out.
will walk out.
Okay.
But I think ours would be better decorated.
Well, let's see. Let's not get into that. All right. Any other comments? Staff comments?
That's a bold statement.
Well, the last thing that I like to add is that our Open Studio Tour documentary is now running on the air. It's on the public channel, and they will continue running this footage during the year for several months. And we finished also sending out the certificates of authenticity to all artists and art organizations who were part of the Open Studio Tour and supported the event.
Actually, certificate of recognition, not authenticity.
Yes.
Just a little correction. Certificate of appreciation or recognition, actually. Yes.
That would be certificates.
Yes. Yes.
The English one?
We're artists. We don't speak grammatically well English. Good.
Joylene appreciates it.
I never knew that. Now I have an
Okay. What's any other comments from staff? Okay. Commissioner comments now. Commissioner Wagner.
Well, I already talked about the airport banner, so but I was thinking as we discussed the list of accomplishments of the commission, my sense in the school district of the effect of the commission on the school district and on arts there, I think the collaboration and support that goes both ways is a very important part of this or any future body, that linkage. I know that that my experience here and in communicating arts, city events to the district was a part of our conversation when we established an arts coordinator in the district, and it really helped me see the particular need for that, and and having the communication link from Dr. Schaaf back to this body and to Ripsame and to Eve before her has been helpful there. Certainly having the involvement in the schools and in the choirs and performing groups in things like Unity Fest and the genocide commemoration event has been a very strong and important link, I think, for our students. And so I look forward in whatever form this takes to that continued linkage. And I didn't, even though those aren't events that the commission has sponsored, it is a relationship that the existence of the city and of a body serving the city has helped. And I will be just, I have hopes of speaking with Mayor Draymond when I have a chance on what thoughts I have. I'm sure we all do, just to find out a little bit more of what, as soon as I can, because I'm so curious what his ideas are and what the possibilities are in an economy where 501c3s are going to have a hard time. So I'll just say I hope that we will be, that whatever body forms will connect closely with Glendale Arts. I don't know that we need multiple organizations. As long as the city has its role and there's a body that serves the staff and serves the city events, I would hope that we can help that body thrive. I hope that was appropriate to share.
Okay.
I did. Oh well.
All right. Commissioner Kevanian.
Actually, that actually reminded me what Commissioner Wagner said a little bit about the current situation of the arts in the community. As you probably all know, it was about 2 weeks ago that the Pasadena Symphony announced that they're not doing so well, and they had to cut off, I think, November's concert and December's concert, and it's not looking good for the arts. And and also Pacific Opera
folded,
went bankrupt, went absolutely bankrupt, and they were extremely close actually to saving the organization with doing summer series and so forth, but they literally fell off the cliff before they could do that. So I would like to remind the community to continue to support the arts, regardless of the financial situation that they are in. I mean, there's lots of programs. I mean, I'm still learning about a lot of them too. Actually, there's student discount tickets at the LA Opera on a consistent basis, and student rush tickets, of course. And there's so many other programs that students and young people should really take advantage of, and that this is the right opportunity, because these organizations are really desperate to fill up their seats with whoever and anyone. They really don't care, quite frankly. They need to fill up seats, so take advantage of the opportunity and go see. I mean, I get free tickets all the time through school. Our Chapman University gets free tickets from all these kinds of events. I mean, down in Orange County. I mean, I'm seeing the Israel Philharmonic with Dudamel this Sunday, and it's all through different programs and different organizations that want to get students in literally for free. So take advantage of that, really do.
Commissioner Solis.
Speaking of the Pasadena Symphony, I don't have all the info, but I'm associated. I sing in the Pasadena Mass Chorale. We are the official chorus of the Pasadena Symphony, and we are having a concert on December 13th, and it's a benefit for the Pasadena Symphonies. It's December 13th at 7:30. I do not know the location. I'm unprepared, but you can go to PasadenaSymphonies.org and get the info there, and it's going to be $10. It's going to be great. We're singing Messiah. We're singing a bunch of stuff with orchestra, and it's to benefit the Pasadena Symphony. And for $10, you're going to see some great music, and all professionals. So can't beat that price. And like I said, it's to support the Pasadena Symphony. So I want to put that.
Thank you. Any other comments from this end? Okay, let's hear you again.
Sorry, I totally forgot something that is actually so important and is so involved in my life. The Glendale Symphony actually is looking for potential board members actually. And they're interested in hearing people's ideas, and just contact them with anything that you have. I mean, we're in the recruiting stage. I'm saying we because, as all of you probably know, I'm on the board of the symphony. So it's time that the symphony starts looking at different avenues. We had a little shift in direction for a few months, and now we're, in my opinion, back on the road of figuring out what the symphony is and how it fits into the community. And if there is a niche in the community. So the phone number for the Glendale Symphony is 818-500-8720. So call them, talk to our staff. I mean, any ideas if you're interested in supporting the symphony at any dollar amount. We don't turn any money away.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Lee?
Well, I was somehow invited to see Wicked at Americana. So I think is George our liaison to the Americana, to all their functions?
Well,
I don't remember.
I serve on a committee with the managers of the Americana, yeah.
Oh, okay. So in the future, if we can get everybody involved, because I think I really enjoyed it, and if it's something that it's in Glendale, we should promote it. Because like I said, I've gotten the flyer. It was for Halloween. They had it in their courtyard. They had some of their actresses sing. So something I think we should all promote. It's performing arts in Glendale at the Americana or wherever, or any venues that are in that degree. If we can get a head start on it, and like I said, we all should promote it.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Next item is written communications. Any communications?
I have none.
Okay. All right. Before adjournment, let me just remind the public of several events that are upcoming in Glendale, and also remind and invite the public in case anybody is interested in serving at the subcommittee for demands in humanity to man. Maybe you could contact Ripsman Marashian at the Parks and Rec Department of the City of Glendale Cultural Affairs, and her phone number at the office is 818-548-2780. So if, volunteers are welcome if anybody wants to be a member of this committee. And of course, if there are more than enough volunteers, not everybody might be on this committee, but I strongly encourage the public and our Glendale citizens to participate in this very interesting endeavor that the Arts and Culture Commission is going to go for April of 2009. Having said that, again a reminder that on December 3rd, Wednesday, 7 p.m., there will be the Christmas tree lighting at the City of Glendale Parchers Plaza. There is a very interesting exhibition going on at Brand Libraries and Art Galleries from November 8th to December 19th. It is called Portrait in Phase. Incredibly interesting exhibition, so I invite the public to go there and see that. And again, in Brand Library Recital Hall on Wednesday, December 10, 2008 at 7 p.m. There is a film screening with documentary filmmaker Jane McKay, and I believe the title of that is Maynard Dixon Art and Spirit. So I invite the public to attend that, December 10. And on December 14th, there are two events, one at 4 p.m., which is the Messiah, and that's at the Presbyterian Church, or the
First United Methodist.
The
Nancy
First United
Salahian conducting, Lad Thomas at the organ and orchestra with
Who's
Cathedral
conducting?
Choir. Nancy Salahian.
Nancy Solayan concerning, yeah. And at the First Methodist Church, what's the address, please?
It's at the corner, right across from the post office, corner of Broadway and Jackson. And Broadway and Kenwood.
Okay.
134 North Kenwood is the church address, but the sanctuary is on Broadway.
That's where the LA Master Chorale rehearses.
Yes,
Okay.
they do.
So 4 p.m. on December 14th, 4 p.m. the Messiah at the First United Methodist Church at the corner of Broadway and Kenwood, and 7 p.m. that very same day, which is a Sunday, again another Christmas. What's exactly it called?
Mary Tuba Christmas.
Mary Tuba Christmas at the Alex Theater at 7 p.m. We have many good and other venues and other events that are happening in the community. I cannot announce everyone, but I strongly encourage the public to attend those and the other arts and culture events in Glendale. And with that, the meeting for today is adjourned. See you on December.
Yeah.